Everybody, welcome. Big Joel community call. We didn't have a call 2 weeks ago because it was Labor Day. So hopefully everybody took the day off and did not labor too much. But we are back. I got a special guest today. I think the last call, no, I don't think I was by myself. I forget it was on the last call a month ago. But we have a special guest today that I'm excited about. He's been on before, but always drops bombs and gives us all kinds of good knowledge. Just a little bit of housekeeping for those of you that are new to this call. If you've registered, you don't need to register again whenever you see us promoting this call. You are in our system as registered, which means you have a calendar invite forever. You can always decline it or get rid of it or whatever you want to do, but it's going to be in your calendar at this time in your time zone. So again, I see a lot of people register again when they see a guest they definitely want to hear. I just wanted you to know you don't have to. And if for some reason this is not in your calendar and you're simply clicking the link that you get when we do the text reminder, please let us know and we'll send you another calendar invite. No problema. We don't use the chat a lot just because normally it's a short call and I'm talking and the guest is talking. But if you do have a question in the chat, you can put it in there and maybe raise your hand. And Josh is on here keeping an eye on stuff for me or for us to make it a little bit easier for us. Baby bit of housekeeping. Those of you that are Crush Group graduates, Crush Forward has started. And the first call was awesome. Let us know if you want any information about that. Yes, Dunsky, we hazed you the whole time. You couldn't hear us. If anyone needs information on that, please let us know. It's called Crush Forward. It's right on the site. And we also do have another Crush group starting in a few days, and we do have 2 or 3 spots in that group available. All right, with that said, it's September, another year cruising by. I know for some of you it feels like the worst year ever because per the NBA, I think it might be the worst year ever. per the NAR, I think it might be one of the worst years ever. Good news is for those of you on this call, you're here and a lot of people aren't. They're busy turning their licenses in, and that's very good for a lot of us. John, I'll be curious for you in a second here. I'm seeing a little uptick from a lot of my one-on-ones. A lot of people in groups have a little uptick on their September. They're feeling good about it, and they've got a lot of pre-quals and a lot of people looking for October. And there's actually inventory for people to buy, which is interesting. So my guest today is John Palmiotto. Last time John was on this call, was it Chief Production Officer? What was your title at Guaranteed Rate?
Chief Production Officer at Guaranteed Rate. Yep.
John was the Chief Production Officer at Guaranteed Rate, which means all trouble rolls uphill to him, anything having to do with sales. John has since left and is now at the Money Store. Same title, John?
Chief Production Officer at the Money Store.
Same title, Chief Production Officer at the Money Store. I'm sure a lot of you all on this call probably have questions for him about that. So we'll get that out of the way real quick. And then I want to talk to John about what he's seeing in the market and what's going on. And John, for those of you that don't know or haven't seen John on here before, is very hands-on. He's been in the business a long time, almost as long as me. Got the old guys on here today. And he does keep his hands in production at all times, so is very familiar with what's going on the street, and that's why I always like to get his feedback just in general for my audience, and I appreciate all of you all being on here. So John, let's just get it out of the way real quick. I know you made a move over to the Money Store, and just let everyone know if you can in a few words or as many words as you want. Just give everyone just a little update on your status, and then I want to ask you a few questions about the market.
Yeah, first off, my experience at Guaranteed Rate was awesome. You know, it was great to be there for the 6.5+ years. I walked in the door as a divisional with no intention of doing any more than just running a great division in the Northeast, and things evolved. I ended up running all of sales there. And as you guys know, Guaranteed Rate's pretty large, got big. And we battled hard the last couple of years through this market. I mean, this cycle we're in now is a 2-year long cycle, which already is the longest, at least in our long careers, Joel. Maybe there was one longer prior to us, but I don't think so. And, you know, I've been talking with the Money Store for about a year. This is kind of going to sound weird, but I have a picture in my gym in my house of the 1978 Yankees. and it's every player's card in a frame that my high school buddy got me that played football with. And when I was talking about the money store, I just had this weird envisionment about growing something new, special, smaller, and clearly aligned with Phil Rizzuto in the days of the money store. So
John, a lot of people on this call are not going to get that one. A lot of people are too young to get that. Dunsky is an old man. He's nodding right now.
You can Google it. You can Google Phil Rizzuto and you'll know the story. But anyway, I just was like, you know what? This is something different. You know, it's a time of change right now. I think a lot of people are going through a reset in this business because the cycle is so long. And for me, it was just a natural time for a reset. I felt like I served GR well. They served me well. And got a lot of good friends there that I left, which is the hardest thing because you can't talk to them and all that, obviously with contractual obligations. So probably that was the most difficult thing is the people. You know, a lot of great people there, but I'm inspired to help the money store regain the prominence they had back in the day and build this thing up and bring a lot of success there. So pumped up to be here. Got the shirt on representing.
Awesome. You got the t-shirt, you know, it's all good. You get the t-shirt. Good. So John, give us a little global, last time you were on, I had some great takeaways and I know I got some really good feedback from people when you were kind of dropping bombs at the end, but give me just a global view. The loan officers that you're seeing succeed right now. These are the people, John, I got some one-on-one people that are doing more production this year than they did last year. Actually, units. I'm not even talking about volume. What do you see in the top people do globally up at your level? I know you're talking to these people all the time, these tippy top of the Scotsman's Guide people. What are they doing day in and day out? Little inspiration for this crew. There's a lot of great loan officers on this call. Yeah, great leaders, great managers. What do you see? Yeah,
it's a great question, and particularly at the other place, because we had such a large population sampling size of loan officers there, a couple thousand plus, there was a great divide between people staying busy, finding success, and then the other people that were really struggling. The one thing that resonates to me with the people that were finding success is they were trying new things all the time. They were going after different products, you know, reverse, you know, being extremely active. I mean, I remember one guy, I won't mention the person's name, you would know him, perennial $100 million, $150 million type person. They went back to activity levels that they did as a rookie 25 years ago. Awesome. So it's a combination of like going back to some old school tactics combined with stretching and learning new products that maybe they thought they didn't need to know. Another person we had, multi-millions, $100 million of production, was really focusing on bond loans, if you can believe it. That's someone who probably wouldn't touch a bond loan with 10-foot pole during COVID. So I just saw the most aggressive people were stretching in every capacity, activities, product, continually learning. Also what I've seen, and hopefully, you know, no disrespect to anybody that did this, but during COVID, people started getting into this thing. I'm going to go move to some other market and try to maintain my business remotely and all that. And I've seen that be a negative to a lot of people and provide other people an opportunity where they're rooted in their community. They're rooted in the real estate community. They're competing with people that have since left during COVID, and they're coming. It's like Deion Sanders. They're saying that, like, I'm coming. You know, they're coming every day, convincing people in the marketplace that they're there to win and help them succeed. And I think some people that are out there doing that, pressing that hard in a traditional sense, are finding a lot of success.
Yeah, John, I was talking to a loan officer, shall remain nameless. We were talking about some activities, and I said, if this person who shall remain nameless is doing that and you're not, it's over for you. Like you have to at least go do it. Like you can't stay rooted in your chair. You know, again, it's the old, I got to say this on every call because everyone gets excited. You know, you stand up, turn around, take a look at your chair, and it's an imprint of your ass. You got a problem because you're not supposed to be sitting in it. You're supposed to be out. And what you said is right on, John. I'm hearing and seeing the same thing, everybody, by the way. The Uber producers, the people with a lot of activity are grounding and pounding right now, grinding old school, doing stuff some of them have not done in 20 years. And I want to tell you without being dramatic, if these people are doing that, and you are sitting in your chair, you've got a big problem, because these are very good loan officers, very adept. They know how to put deals together. Everything they touch closes on time. They know what they're doing. And now they're doing the same activities that you all should be doing that maybe you're not doing. Now, a bunch of you are doing that, but old school. The other thing John said, again, I just want to reiterate, being creative. John, I got 20 loan officers coming with me to New Orleans tomorrow for the next couple of days. We were just talking about some subjects, and one of the people, I don't see her on here. I don't see her right now. She said, Joel, it'd be great just to talk about how creative. It's a bunch of incredible loan officers, how creative they're being with products, anything to be relevant, putting deals together. Sean Johnson's on here right now. I'm not calling him out, but we had a whole conversation about how many loan officers actually know how to creatively put deals together. You know, we have a whole generation of loan officers that all they've ever done is a 30-year fixed in their whole career. And I'm not saying you have to use an exotic program, but don't really even know the math. They're just used to just throwing somebody in something.
The other thing, Joel, I was going to add to that is this market's been taking a toll on people's personalities, their psychology, their energy, and just everybody on this call. What I would encourage you to do is keep your energy high, stay positive, by being extremely active and doing all the activities that, Joel, you profess. That's one of the things I like about your coaching. It's very tactical. It's not like philosophical. It's specifically, this is what you need to do. You've got to think about your energy level and how you're coming across to every opportunity, be it a client, an applicant, or a referral partner, because it's super competitive. To your point, Joel, you're all competing with the best right now. The best people in the business are out there hard. And when they take in a client call, they're giving their best to that client and to that referral partner every time they get up at bat. So everybody on the line, you got to think about that same thing. This is not COVID time where the phone's ringing off the hook. Your execution of the conversation is more important than ever.
Josh, can you mute that? I hear something in the background. Yeah, again, John, right back on that subject. I mean, imagine, John, this is my old famous thing with newer loan officers or people that aren't working that hard, where I always say, okay, I'll take the call and you take the call. I don't care who goes first. My rate will be a quarter higher. Let's see who gets the loan. Literally, let's see who gets it when we're done. So, these are very proficient, very good. I mean, John, we're staring at a lot of these people right now that are on this call that are playing ball like that. And if they're on the phone with a client, on a deal that you're trying to get, they're getting it. I mean, you're not getting it. They're getting it. The other thing is, John, back to the old school. We're back to pick up the phone, people. This is not. You get inbound on Sunday at 6. Man, I hope you're picking that up, because I can tell you some of these people that John is referring to, they are picking that call up right now. Absolutely, they're picking that call up.
Speed kills.
Yeah.
Speed kills. I mean, same thing with recruiting. If there's a recruiting opportunity that comes up, I call immediately, I text immediately. It's not, you don't let time go, Yeah,
it's a big deal. And John, we're just talking also about your mental attitude. I mean, we are, a lot of people are predicting, it's going to be like a really cold winter. It's going to be super cold. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I get it from a corporate perspective as far as tightening your belts, whether you're a small company or a big company. I know the agencies are brutalizing every company right now with buy box, hey Spiro, with buybacks and all kinds of stuff. I know that all of that nasty stuff is going on, but I got to tell you, the consumers are used to seeing their payment at the rate, at what the rate is right now. And if they want to buy and that payment still looks good versus rent, the last time I looked at stats, 38% of all millennials have stated they want to own a home. They're not pulling the I want to rent forever move. We have a lot of pent up demand. And again, we've talked about this, John. I don't know if you talked about this with a bunch of your people. This is a famous, I've talked about it, but James Allen put it perfectly. He's James, John. He said, it's not the rate on your house, it's what your combined rate is of all your debt. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, if someone's getting the house they want, who cares if they got 3% interest rate on their mortgage, if they got a bunch of consumer debt at extremely high rate, and then you turn around and you do the math, again, people, the math, you have to be able to do the math, and moving is a better deal. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's where you get into creative selling. Joel, you do what we were talking about earlier. That's a great example of where you're putting energy in a different way to differentiate yourself with that client. You start talking about their overall financial wellness and about them comprehensively, and you take the time. That's an opportunity to differentiate yourself from someone else, and again, that's why I was saying earlier, like, slow down and think about every interaction you're having and what's the end result. You hit a golf ball, one fraction of a degree off, it goes in the woods. You hit it properly, it goes in a fairway. It's like that. It's the same thing with a human being. So take the time and be consultative. Yeah.
What a great, a great analogy, John. It's perfect. And, the takeaway there, John, there's a bunch of loan officers I've dealt with over the years where they pride themselves in how quickly and how efficient they are at dealing with clients and dealing with people. And really, they're animals when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. But you just said something very important. It's okay to take the extra 7 minutes right now and don't necessarily hit your deadline of, I talk to every client for 12 minutes, and they're done and they're locked in and they're ready to go, because I don't think that's the kind of market we're in right now. And I think, John, I've been saying this for a while. If you don't need hot tea with lemon at the end of the day, you didn't do your job right, because you should be talking all day. You're not getting these deals with email and text. I can tell you that. That's not happening.
Totally. It's just like anything. Like, take working out. Like, if you're warming up, right, Joe? You like Orange Theory. If you're warming up, rushing through the warm up doesn't actually make you warm up better. So take your time, do it properly, and pace yourself through the day so that you can make a difference for whoever it is you're speaking to. Because, like, nobody wants to be rushed on the phone. Nobody wants to not be listened to, not be heard. So I think the best thing you can do right now is be a really good listener with everybody you're dealing with. It's just like what we do in our business, what I do, or what we do at the company. It's like, you think about a home office, right? As a corporation, a home office is a home. It should be a place of refuge. When you call your leadership or come to home office for support, it actually should be like you're coming home. You're getting supported in a different way. It shouldn't be like a divide, right? Because you're out there fighting for loans and you're fighting for what you want. It's the same thing with your clients, right? They're out there competing for 10, 12 houses. They're dealing with high rates. It's the biggest decision they're making. They're probably nervous about it, especially when they watch the news and everybody's saying how, chaotic the economic times are. So think about that person you're interacting with. And if you can make them feel better about their purchase, educate them, and you show a little bit of more patience with them and empathy for what they're enduring and the magnitude of what they're about to endure, I think it'll go a long way. And it's going to help you get many referrals as well, versus speed dating, I should say.
John, do you have any stats, or have you seen anything recently on loan officers handing their license in, or just not renewing, or just getting out?
I hear anecdotally that a lot of people are, and the number did go down pretty significantly. I was tracking it before I made the move, but it wasn't dropping as incredibly as everybody thinks. And I think the reason for that is, if you're not working full time, it's the highest paying part-time job you can have in America. Let's be real, right?
1,000,000%. Yes.
So like, and the other thing is, we're now 2 years into this. We're probably within 10 months of this cycle being complete and coming out the other end. Maybe 11, maybe 12. I think it's about 10. We think it's about 10. And I do think a lot of people are starting to realize that they can just hang in there. They're going to come out the other side of this. So I haven't seen, they talk about the great resignation. What's that with the the COVID generation? I haven't seen the great surrender yet of licenses. It's happening, but not as dramatically as everybody wants to talk about, I guess.
What's holding people in, John, is the massive raise that every single loan officer got that has been in this business for, I don't know, doesn't matter, 2002 and forward. If your average loan amount started out being 200, now it's 600, your comp didn't change. That's a whole nother issue, LO comp. We won't get into that on here, but your comp didn't change. So now you close 2 loans and pay your bills.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're sitting and trying to wait it out.
Yeah, you would be shocked at the number, even at the old place, we had a large number of people that were struggling to meet the minimum production standards. And then in here, I'm talking to groups all the time, and you'll talk to a leader of a group. They've got 2 people producing fairly fluidly, 7 to 10 loans a month. And then they'll have 3 or 4 that are not doing that well, right? And they're still hanging in there. And you do scratch your head. And you're like, how the heck are these people hanging in there? But again, to your point, COVID was pretty lucrative, right? They know it's a lucrative business, and a lot of people are of the perception, if I just hang in there, I'll get to the other end of this thing, and I got to be closer than far away. And I do think we're closer than we are, than far away from it coming out the other side.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're just getting to the point where the companies that have not leaned out enough, that are still wobbling a little, and that could be small, medium, large, it doesn't matter. Are now really starting to look at what I call hat cost. That was a term we used years and years ago. A hat just meant a full-time LO. A full-time LO was a hat. And so for me, hat cost is just straight up benefit costs. What's the cost of keeping someone on your payroll, even if they don't do any loans? What's the cost? What's the cost for IT? What's the cost for them calling and bugging someone about their laptop? What's the all-in cost? And I don't even want to go there with draws and minimum wage and all the stuff that Countrywide put into play with that massive lawsuit, 15, 16 years ago that we all deal with now. Those costs are massive. And I'm seeing some of the big IMBs, medium and down to small, starting to say, okay, we need to change our standards, our minimum production standards for letting someone hang out here. Because now we're all the way down to that point where we got to have some of these people go. That's another thing that I'm definitely starting to see. I don't know if you're seeing that, but
we've been going through that. I mean, you want to give people you want to give people. Well, I'll go back a second. We started doing a coaching call for our underperformers because as a leader, if you're not trying to help your people, right, especially when they're struggling, you're actually failing. Like you shouldn't even have the job. So we started getting really engaged with our lower performers to try to raise the level of performance before we took those measures, because it's like we have an obligation to help them succeed as well. So then when you start mixing it up, you get into it very quickly. You'll see the people that are really trying. You can tell by the activities, the open houses, et cetera, things they're doing. And then you see the people that are just hanging on for benefits or this or that. So I would say every company out there is going through this process, especially ones that are paying minimum wage plus benefits. The carry on an individual is probably, with minimum wage and benefits is $4,000 to $5,000 a month. So it's real money. So if someone goes in the whole 60 days, you're going pretty far negative cash wise. So I think there's been a great effort to be humane about it and to work and progress people. But at the end of the day, if someone's really not trying and they're just hanging on for benefits, this environment is flushing it out. It's too damn costly to hang on to their 1 loan a month. It just is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's and I just John Last just texted me this, by the way, from a event he was at. 2021, 179,000 active LOs. In 2023, 99,000 active LOs. That's 80. That's almost half.
Last I checked, it was 222,000. 2 months ago, it was 222,000 licensed LOs. But the only thing that's misleading with all those stats is you got to look at the people that fled to banks and things like that, because there's a lot of people laying around the banks as well.
Yeah, and also, you look at licenses, and all big companies, all smart companies have everyone licensed that talks to clients. So you've got LOAs that don't originate that are licensed. So that's another little factor.
100%, yeah.
Where they show in the NMLS as an LO.
Well, when I look at it last, the last number was 160,000. I said to myself, well, if 20% of the people are failing, there's like 32,000 people failing right now. So you're down to 130. If every company has a staffing rate of about 25% of SAs to LOs, call it another 30%. There's another 36,000. So your real recruitable market was about 90 to 100,000 of loan officers that are actually, able to hunt and kill in in this market when you back out people struggling and the essays, as you mentioned. So the field is getting leaner, and that's a good thing, right? There's less people competing for the loans. So when the market snaps back, you have higher volume with less people competing. And theoretically, for the people that have been in it, doing all the right activities, they should be able to capitalize on their proportionate share.
Yeah, I think you're going to have a big drop too, because I think this will be the first time when we have a drop and there's refis. This will be the first time I think that we've seen where the servicers are going to have it nailed. And I think a lot of those refis that were getting picked off by low-hanging fruit by LOs sitting around hanging out working quarter time, they're not going to have those. The good loan officers will have them because they're in touch with their clients. But the people that are lazy, those things are going to get they're going to disappear. They're going to get picked off. Now, the other thing, John, I'm seeing too when I talk to my one-on-ones and people in groups is if they're closing 20 loans for the month, they've got 2 or 3 loans with agents that they've just never had a transaction with, almost to the point where it's like, where did this come from? And where it came from is either the agent got sick and tired of a mediocre loan officer, or that loan officer is literally out of the business. And so these big dog LOs are picking that up and they're getting on it immediately and starting to build relationships, which again, it's great for them. It's bad for you all if you're the one that screwed the loan up and let it go and let these men and women get their paws on your referral partners because referral partners, and a lot of agents watch this, John, they're telling me as I see them in the field, I'm with them every week in the field, agents, and obviously I work with some of the best ones in the country. They're telling me, they're like, yeah, Joel, we're done. Like, I don't care if I've known that loan officer forever and he's a nice guy or nice woman. I'm done. I need a nice guy that can close, that can do it on time and make my people happy. I'm done with mediocre, finished with mediocre. John, looking at the time, give people some mental stuff that everyone can do to stay in it. You just use the word 10 months. I think it's going to be a little shorter than 10 months, but even if it's going to be another 10 months, there's a lot of people on this call thriving right now. I mean, they're kicking ass. They'll be kicking ass in December and January. I mean, they're doing loans, but mentally, what's the headspace mentally? Just to push forward and get to the other side. See you, Michael.
Yeah. These calls are always hard because there are people that are so busy they can't see straight. They're still doing a ton of business and units and their flow. But if you're not one of those people, right? If you're not maxed out on your time and you have the luxury of time, focus on education, right? That's a great thing for you to focus on with your realtor partners, with consumers, with yourself. Like, learn new products, learn new techniques. I've talked a lot about this, and hopefully it's not redundant. But there's a virtual war going on out there, and if you're not in it virtually, meaning social media and leveraging some of the other tools that exist, elevating your status in the Google searches, all these things, like you're losing opportunity without you even knowing it. So to me, like, the advice would be, if you have idle time, work on things that will keep your mind engaged, improve your business, help you learn more, help other people that you're associated learn more. And most importantly, always make sure with your partners that you're a positive extension of them. The goal, they're going to do business with people that make them look good. It's the way it is. I mean, I hear people all the time say, I don't like realtors, or realtors are a pain, this and that. Well, look, they're actually giving you an opportunity to feed your family. They're putting you in a position to make money. You have to take the responsibility that you're going to be a positive extension of their business and actually elevate their business and make them look good. So I think there's a lot of things, Joel, that people can do right now in those areas. I talk pretty generally, but there's a lot of time that can be spent improving yourself during this market. It's kind of like, you get an injury and you can't run because your leg's broken. Well, you can lift your upper body. You can work on your upper body and other parts. It's the same thing with our business. When you have more time to learn about your CRM, or whatever it is in new products, take the time, use this time to get sharper in everything you're doing, so that when it does come back and you're too busy transactionally to do it, you've built that foundation. So I don't know if that's helpful.
No, it's great. It's like, John, when I'm talking to agents and they say I'm bored, I got nothing to do, I said, drive around and look at houses. That's your job. Meaning, you should never be bored. You got plenty of stuff to do. And if you think you're not busy, you could get yourself real busy John, I think you listed 6 or 7 things in a period of 45 seconds of what people can be doing. And I will tell you, John, the number one thing that I'll leave you all with that you should be doing is really educating yourself, and not just educating yourself with, just product knowledge. You should be hanging out with loan officers that know what they're doing. And hopefully it'll be your sales manager that have done a lot of loans, that really know how to structure loans. Because if you can't pencil sell right now, you're going to get pencil whipped by a really good loan officer real fast. I mean, in seconds, you're going down. Okay, by a very proficient, good loan officer that will take the time to explain the numbers to someone, and then suddenly you get ghosted. The people aren't calling you back, and you finally get them on the line. And they say, "Oh, I went with this other guy. His rate was lower." Nah, his rate wasn't lower. He or she was way better on the phone than you, and they made the client feel better, and they put the deal together better. John Palmiotto, thank you so much for your time. You want any final words? I'll hand you the talking stick, but I always like to be respectful of your time. Anything you want to add? John, they get you jpalmiotto@themoneystore.com, or they can find you on social media.
Always. Yeah, for sure. It's great being here, Joel. Appreciate everybody listening. And, every time there's a conversation around the market, the business, what loan officers are not are doing, it always sounds like a beat down. Just stay positive, believe in yourself. Be the best you can be through educating and working and outworking anybody. That's bottom line. You got to work harder than everybody else.
Exactly. Outwork everyone. Everyone, see you in 2 weeks. Thanks for being on. Thank you, John.